guys, today I'm just going to talk to you about a couple of things. It's a bit of a long story. A while ago I went off electronic cigarette smoking and went back onto real fags. You know, I just got a bit drunk after about 6 months or so, being back on them again. I had a few fags and then I just got hooked back on the real thing again. And I decided that I was just going to go back onto an electric, but I needed something with a bit more power. And it's not really a review as such as any one particular product, it's just a couple of things that I've tried recently that I've got to say, some things that are great, some things that are not so great. At the moment, this is the combination that I'm using at the moment. This is an e-power 1650, and I have recently gone on to a big tank. The reason I say it's a big tank, I don't want to call it a clearo tank, which is what it's described as on the website that I bought it from. Because I originally tried to find an Arry tank, but I couldn't find one anywhere. I didn't want to pay the money for a map tank, and I was going to buy the Smock DCT 510, which holds 6 millijuice but holds a cartomizer in the middle. Now, I've never tried any of these products before. I tried to single out which one was going to be best just from a few videos that I picked up on YouTube, or other things that other people have said, a few people in particular that I tend to listen to quite a lot. Now, I bought this as a last resort because I bought a dual coil Smock cartomizer, which claims to hold 5 mils of juice, but really doesn't, because if you put more than 3.5 mil in it, then it's just going to leak everywhere. You're going to get liquid in your mouth. It had a horrible fucking, sorry, pardon my language, but it's a horrible, nasty nipple on it, and I didn't like it. And after I bought it, I found out from one of the guys' videos that I normally watch that you can buy it in black, which you can't actually see through, but has a nicer mouthpiece on it. So it would have been nicer to combine the two different mouthpieces on it, but it's not really what I want to talk about today. So I ended up buying this this clearo tank. I got this from mojorepublic.com or .co.uk. Can't remember. I mean, I bought it with a with an internal insider, the clearomizer inside it, and I got it with the drip tip because I know I've got a drip tip somewhere, but because I stopped dripping ages ago because I've got a pain in the backside, I don't know where they are, and it just really, I'd rather pay the extra £1.50 and get a plastic drip tip with it just to slip into it, really. So yeah, I got that. I mean, I think it cost me that bit cost me £20 in all. And this I bought. This is the first ever mod that I've ever bought. For a long time, I was smoking Tornadoes. Some of you may know it as like the Reva 510 or the Ego or something like that. And they are great electronic cigarettes. I can't argue with that at all. I mean, they really are brilliant at what they do. But I found when I first started smoking them, I went onto the mega batteries, and I found that when they were when I wasn't vaping as much, one of those mega batteries would last me all day, but they don't last me all day anymore. So I decided to go onto a mod, something that can hold a bigger, longer lasting battery. And to be fair, it was my first step out as getting a mod. I intentionally, I went to buy the 510N, but the guy at e-cig Wizard that I spoke to was a very helpful guy actually. He pointed me out a lot of things that I wasn't fully aware of, and he actually recommended me to this one instead. Now, even though I don't have it here in front of me because it's over there by the TV, there's actually a little cone. I don't know if you can see the threads on there that just go around here. There's actually a little cone that goes on there. Obviously, I bought it with the sole intention of being able to use a massive tank or cartomizer stroke atomizer on it, and because I don't like changing and swapping about, I like to be able to go all day without having to use anything, and that was the whole point of this exercise, really, that I do that. And he said to me, well, don't get the 510N, get this e-power 18650 instead, because they look almost identical, apart from obviously with these little threads on the top, but this one takes the 18650 battery. So I just went along with what he said, and I got it. It was quite cheap, really. At $24.99 I paid for that. Obviously, without the batteries, I paid a bit extra for the batteries. I got one high drain battery, which I think is 14950 milliamp, and I got two 2700 milliamp batteries, which have got a slight rubber nipple on it as well. This is the one that I'm using at the moment. Is a high drain, and I've been using it for the last hour or so. So it's not at its full capacity. Now, since then, I will be completely honest with you. It's not the highest quality of mod, because I don't know if you can just see inside this on the video. I know it's not a great video, but just on the inside here, you can see a kind of a little gold rim. That is where the threads hook onto the switch mechanism, and when I first got it, that was a bit loose, so it kept popping up, and if I was using the batteries with the nipple on the end, they were popping up, and after a while, eventually that came loose and came completely out altogether. So rather than me faffing and fannying about, I just went and got a tube of super glue and just put it all the way in so it was flush within the battery cap, and just super glued around the bottom of it. And the first time I didn't put much on because I didn't want to really put anything too raised inside of there to prevent batteries going in and out, so I only put a small amount in, and after 2 weeks or so that came loose, and that was a massive pain in the backside, but luckily I had the tube of super glue that I went out and specifically bought because of the problem, and I've glued it back in. Now since then, this high drain battery goes in quite easily, falls straight back out, but even though, as I said, the other battery that I have is over there, I don't really need to go and get it to prove to you that if I put one of those batteries in, it kind of sticks, and I have to really, if I start the battery in, I have to kind of shake it out to get the battery out, and I'm always wondering if that's going to pull the threads out again. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I'm disappointed, because I paid $24.99 for this mod. I mean, I believe that it's made from aluminium, and really it is quite a nice mod. It's not bad at all, but the only, and it feels quite solid in the hand. When you've got one of those batteries in, the battery doesn't rattle around. I mean, this, I don't know if you can hear that. That's the battery shaking around inside. I mean, I don't, it doesn't sound great. But one thing I really did notice as well when I first got it, the light up button seems to get stuck every now and again, and if you push it in, you can actually twist it round, and every now you see it stays on quite a while sometimes as well. And sometimes, if you find it sticking, you have to actually turn it round, and it can be a bit awkward sometimes, because you might just get every now and again get a bit of sweet spot on the atomizer where you're vaping nicely, and you're about to take your finger off because you know you've reached nearly the limiter, because this actually only has a 7 seconds cut off on it, which I find a massive pain in the backside. I've now learned to keep my powerage down, just so I can get around the 5 or 6 second mark and then release. And I've actually found that helps prolong the life of the atomizer as well, or the clearomizer rather. Because I've also, in my first week I went through 3 of these clearomizers, and now I've learnt my lesson. Because what I was doing was holding it down for about 5 seconds, releasing, and then holding it down again to take a longer drag, because I found that the more that I use the cartomizer, or sorry, the clearomizer, the more vapor I could get. But the more I used the clearomizer, the less vapor it produced, so I had to hold my finger down on it more. So what I've done this time, and on this one, this has lasted me about a week now, I've just limited myself to about 5 or 6 seconds. I've got to say, I don't know whether that is just because I've had a couple of dodgy ones, or if it's just because I've been, I've been frying the atomizer on the top. Obviously, it's a top feed atomizer, so I don't know whether it's because I've been frying it. But I've got to say, now that I've started to use it 5 to 6 seconds, it's not producing as much vapor now as it was a week ago, and I will show you what it's vaping like now. but you know, at least it's still providing enough vapor for me to actually enjoy it. So I'm just going to take a couple of vapes on this now. I don't even know what it's going to look like on the video, but if you just bear with me a second, obviously I'll demonstrate. But it does feel like I'm getting a strong throat hit, so I'll just show you what it goes like. I do find, I mean, this is actually about half full as well. If you find if it's wicked right up to here, then it wicks a lot better. So I find I have to either vape with it slightly up, like that, or at least hold it upside down. But I use 100% VG juice, so it's not like PG. I mean, you have to hold it upside down a little bit longer, I imagine. But I normally try and I find that you get a warmer and more flavourful vape if you hold it slightly up, so that all kind of there's a part of it where at least where all the circumference of the top ring is surrounded by liquid, and I find that way. I mean, at the moment I've got cherry in here, and cherry's not that strong a flavour, and if I just do that and then vape it and kind of that in that position, then you don't really get to get the full sense. But every now and again, you know, when I'm vaping like that, you get a really strong, sharp, and kind of sweet, savoury kind of cherry taste, and it's really quite nice. But sometimes, you know, you kind of chase that, and I also find that you do tend to get a little bit of leakage at the top, whether that be because it's coming through. Or if it's just because of condensation inside the drip tip, I'm not sure. But I do find that if I'm doing it like that, I get more leakage than I do if I'm just doing upside down then vaping. If you see what I'm trying to say. This is just kind of an upload video, because the last couple of videos I've done haven't been that great. And I've managed to sort out my camera now, and I know I've got a few bad responses because my microphone went down. But I'd just like to say to people out there, you know, I mean, I've got to say there are a couple of things that I might got my eye on now, such as the lava tube, which is the cheap version, but really I'm actually saving for a Pro Vari. And I know there are better tank systems out there. But for me, I mean, this is a big step out into the unknown, really. I've not really gone out into mods or this kind of tank system before, and I've got to say, replacing the clearomizer is an absolute piece of piss. You know, I mean, obviously, if your clearomizer goes buggered on you, like when you're this far from the top, you know, it's a pain in the backside, because you've got to like kind of take that out, put your finger on the bottom just to make sure there's no leakage, and then just pull it off, and empty your juice into into your pot, and then put a new clearomizer. But putting a new clearomizer in is so easy. I mean, you don't have to be a genius to do it. I mean, my mum smokes electronic cigarettes, and she doesn't like faffing about, but I know that even she would be able to do it. And as long as you stick to that kind of 5 or 6 second rule I've found, then, as I said, I think this is my third or fourth clearomizer now. As long as you stick to that general rule of just keeping it down to 5 or 6 seconds before you pull away, then you make it last a lot longer. But I've got to say, even though this is a week old, I'm still quite happy with the amount that it vapes actually. I just had a quick check at the screen though while I'm videoing that as well. It doesn't look like very much, and it's not as much as it does when you've got a brand new clearomizer in there. But I'm not going to teach you how to suck eggs. You know, I hope this might come across as quite helpful to you. You know, if you especially just going out into the world of mods. I mean, this is a cheap mod, £24.99 from e-cigs, and this is from 20 quid from Moju. I think I got the clearomisers for £4.50 for 5 from Totally Wicked. So I mean, it's not that expensive. Give it a go if you want to, but I personally won't change anything that I vape now because I quite like the taste. So I hope that's helpful for you. Thank you. Bye bye.